Now the undercover private investigators who claim they're cashing in by exposing a growing number of cheating partners. They're hired by suspicious husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, and use hidden cameras working around the clock. Alison Petrowski has our report and joins me now. Ali?
Thanks, Tracy. Well, when it comes to catching love rats, business is booming. But far from having secret affairs, the people you're about to see aren't shy about showing their affection for someone who clearly isn't their partner. Maybe they thought they wouldn't get caught. They were wrong.
Some people cheat once only, some people do it daily, some people are monthly.
I receive approximately 15 to 20 phone calls a week and I'm not really advertising.
If you're reaching for your phone to ring a PI to snoop on your partner, then that's a warning sign.
It's unbelievable, some people are just so brazen.
1 in 3 marriages are rocked by infidelity at some point. It's an alarming statistic and more of us are turning to private investigators to check up on our loved ones. And if you're one of the cheaters, well, you just never know who's watching. You're watching a man who is cheating on his wife. Not on the sly, not behind closed doors, but out in public, in broad daylight for all to see. In front of friends and strangers, over and over again.
A lot of people say, look, I've never done this before. They do get very nervous.
David is a private investigator. He's been running Spouse Spy for nearly a decade.
It's mainly focused at the domestic market, so infidelity cases, child custody matters and things like that. Gambling addictions, family members wanting to gather evidence of, their partners, maybe with an addiction that they want to confront them with.
David doesn't want to be identified because he still frequently works in the field conducting surveillance. You see, when it comes to catching out those committing adultery, business is booming.
They've had an extensive, passionate kiss here right in front of everyone at the international airport.
These are surveillance tapes from one of David's previous investigations. For the sake of the families, we're choosing not to identify the people involved or reveal exactly where this candid affair took place. What we can tell you is that a suspicious wife was the client, and that's her husband embracing another woman.
This is them checking in at her hotel.
An entire day of whining, dining and embracing in public, all while the wife is away.
So after, 12 hours of following this couple, there's no denying that they're having an affair already. Do you go back to the wife and do you say, this is what I've got so far, or do you let it play out?
This particular client just kind of let us run the job how we wanted to run it, and we were just feeding her with SMS updates. So look, she was well aware of what he was doing after the first day, but she wanted to continue on and find out everything.
We use night vision equipment. We can also use hidden cameras when they're going into a restaurant or if they're going into a hotel, walking into the hotel room.
Luke Athens is a private investigator who also specialises in domestic surveillance.
2008 I launched Heartbreakers. It was purely to assist relationships to grow and mend their relationships back after an affair, but it didn't work.
Luke discovered on many occasions that the client was fairly certain of the affair and just wanted confirmation of it before ending their own relationship. Take the wife who hired Luke to get surveillance of a partner. She didn't believe that his regular boys' nights out were just that.
He was sitting in his motor vehicle just waiting. Shortly after, a female arrives and gives him a kiss. You can see there that they're passionately kissing.
Again, we're choosing not to identify the people involved, but the woman kissing this man, well, she's not his wife.
So they've arrived at a car park at a restaurant, and they've attended the restaurant and they've had dinner together.
He puts his arm around her, she puts his arm around him.
And you can see as they're holding in hands, which is obviously showing some type of emotional connection there.
Doesn't look like it's their first date, does it?
No, they're very, very comfortable between each other.
The date ends after midnight, with the couple walking arm in arm into a local hotel and checking in.
So who's your typical customer?
Generally, okay, with age bracket, it's between 35 to 45. And generally, you start to see a lot of my clientele that come to me, it's either after a first child or a second child, that we see a larger increase of actually infidelity taking place. We're finding more women actually having the affairs than actually men in the last 5 years.
Here's one example. One overseas husband hired a private investigator here to check up on his wife, who regularly visited Australia for business. They conducted surveillance on her throughout her week here, where she, a male and another female, made regular trips out to pubs and clubs. On consecutive nights, they film her getting cosy with the male, canoodling at the bar, dancing seductively in front of him and making out.
Generally, everything's dealt with verbally over the phone, and we will post the DVD footage to them. Some clients ring back, they want to discuss that situation. So we're not always there when they get to view that footage, but before they receive it, they already know what's on the footage. So we're able to sort of break that to them over the phone, at least, before they receive it.
They already know it's actually happening. So it's not really a shock, it's actually more of a relief for them.
Technology has made it easier than ever to cheat if you so desire. There's websites specifically targeting those looking for extramarital affairs. Even social media sites like Facebook, Twitter and Instagram make it easier to form connections with people you never would have come across, or to reconnect with old flames. But while technology can be an affair enabler, it also has a flow-on effect. Your chances of getting caught are now just as great.
The days of lugging around a huge camera with wires and battery backups and things like that, trying to remain covert, is a thing of the past. So we're always staying on top of what equipment is out there.
They may be doing it because they want to exit the relationship, they've had enough. But other reasons could be that they're very unhappy in their relationship, they're not getting their needs met, and so they look elsewhere. And also there's those people that have opportunities that arise and they don't say no. What we're going to need to do...
John Aitken is a relationship psychologist. He says that while the situation may appear to be dire, any relationship can recover from an affair.
It requires a person that's strayed to put their hand up and say, I'm going to do whatever I can to win you back. And then you've got to work together as a team. You've got to essentially cut all contact with the mistress or the third party. You've got to show remorse and empathy. You need to make sure that you answer all the questions around the affair. Put in place some accountability behaviours, like take off passwords from your phone or your computer. And finally, deal with the relationship issues that are going on.
I believe that investigation services are a form of counselling. It decreases the time frame to get over a particular person, or it can actually even help mitigate and correct and help the relationship actually grow.
But for those on the receiving end who don't want to pick up the pieces, maybe proof from a PI is just what you finally need to cut the cord.